Welcome to RRA, the Reef Research Association. We hope to provide you with a fun and safe scuba experience. So to start off, what is scuba diving?
Scuba diving stands for the self-contained underwater breathing apparatus.
Which is like the oxygen tank on your backs. So, what is scuba diving again? Scuba diving involves taking a trip down to the depths of the ocean, and the diver uses a contained underwater breathing apparatus, the tank on your back, full of mostly oxygen and nitrogen to keep you alive and breathing.
Why do we scuba? The RRA specializes in taking care and providing awareness to coral reefs. Taking care of these reefs is essential because the reefs have major impact on our ecosystems, and even the slightest change can completely throw off a coral reef, such as a diver touching a coral reef can kill it.
So don't touch coral reefs. Why are coral reefs important to the ocean? They provide shelter for tons of fish and their eggs. They increase ocean diversity. They protect our coasts from strong waves and currents. And it limits the amount of CO2 in the water. In a coral reef ecosystem, you have both abiotic and biotic. Your abiotic factors would be the sand, the waves. So what the waves do is they help bring in your food for the algae and the small fish, and then they take away every fish's waste. The temperature for a coral reef is about 77 to 84 degrees Fahrenheit. They're around anywhere from like 100 to 200 feet below sea level, and the ideal salinity would be 36 parts per billion.
The biotic factors, there's over 4,000 species of fish. There's coral, algae, crustaceans, which are like lobster, shrimp, and crabs, reptiles, seaweeds, bacteria, and fungi.
So why do we help save and research these coral reefs? Because they're home to 25% of marine species. They have an economic value of $375 billion. They provide food and resources for over 500 million people in 94 countries. The main countries are like your Fijis, Haiti, Philippines. And they also provide construction materials like coral produces limestone and new medicine. And a lot of the new cancer research is with marine animals.
Without coral reefs, there would be no shoreline protection. There's no natural maintenance of the water quality. And the ability of countries to pull tourists in would decrease, as well as the country's food supply.
So our coral reef, we researched the outer shelf reef. It's found from 50 to 200 meters below sea level along the continental shelf. It's known for commercial fishing. It's one of the more diverse reefs, and one of the rare cooked fish live here, which are the fish that can blend in with the surroundings.
Some of the benefits of our research are that it attracts wildlife and increases the biodiversity. It protects the shoreline from waves and currents, and it contributes to the medical field by providing all sorts of medications. Some disadvantages are the coral reefs are very fragile. It takes a long time to grow, and they prevent shoreline shipping on docks.
So there are risks, of course, when you take scuba diving, and one of those is oxygen toxicity. So this is a result of when you dive, you get too much oxygen in your body, and that usually happens when you exceed your depth limit. Symptoms include vomiting, twitching, nausea, drowsiness, ear ringing, dizziness, and seizures. And so to prevent this, just listen to your scuba instructors, calculate all your risks, and follow the safety rules. And it relates to Boyle's Law when you want to get technical about it.
Another risk is the bends. Henry's Law and Boyle's Law are both associated with the bends. It's caused by the rapid release of nitrogen gas from the bloodstream, and the nitrogen releases because of bubbling in the blood when a diver ascends to the surface typically.
So the bends, symptoms and prevention. So symptoms include excess coughing, chest pain, dizziness, paralysis, difficulty breathing, unconsciousness, which can lead to death. And to prevent, ascend slowly to the surface, breathe in compressed mixtures of oxygen and helium, and spend time in a decompression chamber.
The last risk you'll be exposed to is air embolisms, which is associated with Boyle's law in chemistry. This occurs when a diver holds their breath while surfacing, and when this happens, the air will do one of three things. It can push air through the lung tissues and enter the skin around the neck, or it can go through the lung tissues into the spaces of the lungs and cause collapsed lung, or it can force air into the blood vessels.
Symptoms and prevention of air embolism. So symptoms starts with pain in your joints and muscles, irregular heart rhythms, blurred vision, itchy skin, seizures, and vertigo. To prevent, limit duration and depth of your dive. Surface slowly while breathing in air from the tank. Never dive after alcohol consumption or with a cold or cough. And that's all for our seminar.
We hope you enjoy your scuba experience with the Research Association.